Hi, it's your real estate geek, Andrew Finney here. So today we're back with real estate trends, and we're going to be looking at building a new home and 5 tips to save you money. Now, of course, if you're watching this video right now, you're very curious about building a new home, and it's going to really depend with these costs, whether you're choosing to pursue it through traditional methods of working with a builder, or if you're looking to work on build your new dream custom home. Each of those are going to have their own costs associated with them. And with number one, we want to always make a budget. That's the first thing before we even get into cost saving measures, is to simply have a budget in mind prior to building either your custom home or going into the new home construction with either your realtor or on your own. Now, I'd highly recommend that you always work with a real estate consultant, even when you're building or buying a new home with a builder. The reason being is they're going to be able to help you probably negotiate a few different things into that contract, and they're also going to help you be advised the whole way through what's going on, and they're going to be your middleman whenever it comes to crunch time with that new home construction and running that interference for you to make sure that everything's working to plan and staying on schedule for you. There's a host of other benefits as well that the professional real estate consultant will be able to help you identify upgrades that are going to add value and upgrades that you can do after the fact that are going to save you money in the building process and ultimately benefit your bottom line. Now, how you choose to proceed with this information is entirely on you, but I will ask you right now that if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this channel, give me those thumbs up, and share it around, because you never know who this is going to help. So let's go ahead and get into cost saving tip number one. Why do new home constructions cost so much? Well, it really begins with the land and excavation of the land. So depending on how rocky that soil is, depending on the type of land that's in the area that you're building this on, is going to determine the cost of the ultimate project. While that may be a smaller cost overall, it's still going to be a higher going to add to the higher cost of building a new home, and it's going to be cheaper to buy it from a builder than it is going to be able to buy your own land and then build a new custom home on it. If that is what you want to do, then what you want to work with is a real estate consultant to help you find that land and specifically note how far are the utilities from that piece of land. Knowing that, you can get a better estimate and idea of how much it's going to cost to bring the utilities to that land and ultimately help you build your new home. It's very important to know where the utilities are. Not every piece of land has utilities ran to it. In fact, many do not. It's one of those things that you really want to consider whenever you're buying your new piece of land, or if you're buying with a builder, something to consider that they've brought in those utilities for you already. And sometimes that's whenever you hear of a SID or a lid or a mellaroo, sometimes that's part of that mellaroo or that SID or lid is actually the cost to bring in the utilities by the builder. And then, of course, they like to pass it on to you. So with cost saving tip number two, it's important to also address the permits, inspections, and fees. So with the permits, inspections, and fees, if you're going through a builder, this is going to save you a huge amount of time, because you're not the one that's actually having to go out and take a look and get all these permits and inspections and fees and work with the county and work with the city to make sure that you're in compliance. The builder will actually do it for you. Now, if you're going the custom home route, you're going to need to think about that, and you obviously know that there's a lot of red tape in the government, and we're going to be dealing with some high cost here. Now, another one of those regulations, it's important to note that those regulations typically account for about 24 to 30% of a new home purchase, whether it's with a builder or whether it's building a custom home. It can be as high as 24 to 30%. So just factor that into your overall budget when you're considering buying your new home. Another thing that you'll want to think about is that you'll want to make sure that all your contractors are properly insured for the construction process of your property. You may want to consider purchasing a liability insurance to protect yourself on the progress as your home is being built if you're going that custom direction. Now, with a builder of repute, if you have a reputable builder, you won't have to worry about that as much. So cost savings tip number three is actually the amount of stories that you want, the size of your home, the number of the stories. The more that you want, the more expensive it's going to be, and it's going to be really important to consider that, because I've worked with a lot of people that have bought new home construction, and sometimes you go in and you see those models with the builders, you get those big eyes. It's almost like whenever you get when that saying that your stomach was bigger than your eyes, or your eyes are bigger than your stomach, when you're really hungry and then you order all this food and then you can't eat it all. Well, it's kind of the same thing with a home. And the way that that happens is that you go in, you see all those beautiful upgrades, you see all those beautiful things they've done to that model property, and not always thinking logically, and you think a little bit more emotionally. That's one of the reasons that they do it to begin with, is to get you on the options. And just for reference, most of the time, families will spend anywhere between 5 and 15% of the total sales price of the new home construction in options. I have seen some families go really crazy and spend 40 or 50% of the new home construction cost on upgrades. And unless you intend upon living in that home forever, I don't recommend doing that, because most people are going to sell their new home construction at some point or another, unless it's truly a custom home. The other thing to consider if you are going for the truly custom home option is the more angles that you have in your house, the more expensive it's going to be. The more irregular lines, the more stories, obviously, the more bedrooms, the more bathrooms. It should come as no surprise they're going to cost you more money. So just keep that in mind as you're going about and making your plans to either buy through a builder or buy or build your custom home. Okay, so cost savings tip number 4 is really important here. Fixtures, appliances, and furniture. A lot of people don't really consider it. They get into the frame and then they're like, okay, well, I want 5 bedrooms, I want 3.5 baths or 4 baths, whatever the case may be. But of course, you know, what's most expensive to renovate in a typical resale property is also going to be just as expensive to build in the new home construction phase, specifically your kitchen and your bathrooms. So whether you're buying from a builder or whether you're doing your custom home yourself, just keep in mind that you're going to have those costs either way. Now, I can tell you this, it's been an observation in working with the families that I've helped here in Las Vegas, that whenever they buy new home construction, that one of the more expensive things are like cabinets, flooring, and those tend to come at a pretty big premium with a builder, when if they are up for it after their new home is built, sometimes it can actually save them a lot more money, and they can get a better choice of product whenever they close on that new home and have someone come in and renovate it. That's up to you whether you want to do that or not. It's just an observation with cabinets, with granite, with flooring. Those are 3 things right off the top that can save you a lot of money when you're in the new home construction phase, if that the idea is to get into the home and then add to it later in time. That's up to you. Now with a custom home option, just keep your cost in mind, because if you go for an exotic granite, you go for exotic cabinets, or you go for a specialty wood or something, obviously your budget just went through the roof. So it's important to keep your budget in perspective every step of the way, logically, and assess what you really want and what's most important to you in your new home construction. The other thing is to consider is what type of appliances are you going to put in and what type of fixtures you're going to put in. If you want just standard plain Jane fixtures, that's not going to cost that much. But if you want the really nice fixture, whatever you consider to be a really nice fixture, you could be paying $120, $200, $300 a fixture, depending on what kind of fixture you want. It may be, again, those fixtures are so simple to change out yourself. So if you want to do that after the fact of building, if you're using a builder, you want to save some money there, you definitely can. And if you're looking to do your custom build, just keep it in mind. The idea of this video is to help you save money and help you be ready for what the true cost of building a new home construction is, whether it's custom or with a builder. And then number 5, of course, is that you need to consider your ongoing cost. Now, the fortunate reality of a new home construction or a custom home build are the materials themselves are going to help you save money with your energy efficiency over time. Obviously, a home built today in 2017 is going to be more energy efficient than a home built in 2000 or 1990 or 1980. So the newer the home construction, the better the energy efficiency, the better the insulation, the better everything, the products in the house, radiant barrier roofs. There's a lot of different things to consider there, and a lot of different things that will help you save money into the future. Now, one of the things that are going to be hard for you to plan for up front, but you can always make an educated guess on this and actually get with your local assessor, are your property taxes. It's something to consider because it's hard to know what the property tax is going to be for a home that's not yet built. So get with your assessor's office and see what kind of information you can get from them if you're doing the custom home route. Now, if you're looking at buying from a new home builder, then ask them what the estimated property taxes are, or have your agent better yet ask them what your estimated property tax is going to be. Consider your HOA fees. Obviously, if you're building a custom home, unless that land was in an HOA community, you're not going to have one of those. So it's just something to remember, though, that you could have one if you bought land in a HOA type community. Now, almost every new home construction builder out there is going to start off as an HOA to maintain and preserve that community's property value and ensure continuity and make sure that they can sell those homes. So it's another cost that if you're looking to work with a new home builder, talk to your agent about that, get that information up front so you can better plan out your budget. And please do not go crazy on the options up front, because it is another reality that a lot of people that buy a new home construction, unfortunately, it seems like about a third of those people that buy new home construction go really crazy, and within 5 to 7 years are actually foreclosing or short selling on those properties because they spent too much money getting into that house, as opposed to keeping it more realistic and designing a realistic budget and a future budget and adding to the property as they're able. And if you're buying a custom home, how many times have you driven anywhere in the United States and you see that somebody was building a really large new home construction that was custom, or a custom home build here, or a custom home build right now? I bet you that you can think of someplace in your city, somewhere in your county, somewhere in your area right now where you have an unfinished custom home build. That's because they went in with this grandiose idea and did not plan out the budget correctly. These are 5 cost-saving tips to save you money that you should know when building a new home. Now, if you've liked this video, please give me those thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and share it around so other people know how to save money whenever they're buying a new home or building a new home. Thank you so much for watching today. Enjoy a great day.